In this video, we will discuss the need for strengthening disaster risk governance in Sri Lanka. UNDP defines disaster risk governance as the way in which public authorities, civil servants, the media, the private sector, and civil society coordinate at community, national, and regional levels to manage and reduce disaster and climate-related risks. The disaster management ecosystem of Sri Lanka reflects a multi-level and multi-sectoral governance arrangement. It includes national leadership, the ministry responsible for disaster management, technical agencies, district and divisional administration, local authorities, sectoral ministries, media, civil society, communities, the private sector, and development partners. Within this ecosystem, the health sector has a central role. Disasters ultimately affect health and well-being, including deaths and injuries, public health impacts, service continuity, disease risk, mental health, chronic disease care, maternal and child health, elderly care, and disability inclusion. The health sector plays an important role in disasters and emergencies, including emergency response, disease surveillance and control, risk communication and community engagement, continuity of routine care, and support for long-term rehabilitation, recovery, and resilience. During disasters and emergencies, the health sector, non-health sectors, and communities cannot function in isolation. During disasters and emergencies, the health sector, non-health sectors, and communities all need to work together. We do work together during disasters and emergencies, but not always as consistently or as effectively as we should. This raises an important question. Why are we not always working together in the way disasters and emergencies demand? 7 gaps prevent us from working together effectively during disasters and emergencies. These gaps can create a fragmented environment where good efforts remain disconnected. The first gap is that challenges are not always owned together. Different institutions may see the same disaster or emergency in different ways, leading to fragmented responsibilities and uncoordinated action. The second gap is that resilience is not always well understood. The word resilience may be used often, but it can remain too broad, too abstract, or too complicated for day-to-day planning and action. The third gap is that opportunities for synergy are missed. Partners may act separately before, during, and after emergencies, even when working together could create greater impact. The fourth gap is that key partners are not always engaged. Communities, local actors, health services, and wider institutions may not be brought together early enough to plan, coordinate, and act collectively. The fifth gap is that strategic directions are not always aligned. Plans, information, resources, and actions may remain separate, leading to duplication in some areas and gaps in others. The sixth gap is that values are not always upheld. Without shared attention to trust, diversity, equity, inclusion, accountability, sustainability, productivity, and innovation, disaster risk governance can become unfair or lose community confidence. The seventh and final gap is that leadership is not sufficiently leveraged across boundaries and contexts. When leadership remains limited to one style, institution, or sector, it becomes difficult to coordinate action across communities, health services, local government, disaster management, and other partners. In future videos, we will present the Synergistic Resilience Approach and the Synergistic Resilience Compass as a solution to address the above gaps, so that 1 plus 1 equals 3 outcomes can be achieved. In this video, we discuss the need for strengthening disaster risk governance in Sri Lanka, including 7 gaps that prevent us from working together effectively during disasters and emergencies. In the next video, we will introduce the Synergistic Resilience Approach, which can help us overcome these gaps.